everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Camille and I read and review clean and Christian fiction. Today we are going to be talking about all the books that I read in June. I can't believe it's June. This is insane. It's a little bit later than I would have liked. My husband and I have had a lot of company staying with us. Things have just been super busy in June, and somehow I still managed to read 14 books. 8 of them are 5 stars. It was a great reading month. I found so many new favorites. I just really enjoyed this reading month. Even though I felt like I hardly got any reading done at all, I still can't believe that I read 15 books. So hopefully this video is not too long. But I make no promises because you know me. I like to talk about my favorite books, especially 5 stars. So in this video, we're gonna go from lowest rated to highest rated books, which today we only have 4 stars is our lowest rating, which I'm really excited about because last time I had 3 stars and that was really depressing. So we only have 4 stars to talk about, which is still great. I still really enjoyed these books. Not all books can be 5 stars, but before we get into that, we're going to talk about the book that I reread in June, and somehow I only managed to reread 1 book, and that was Aflame by Roseanna and White. I listened to the audiobook. It was lovely. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because you guys have heard me talk about this book series. I loved it. The audiobook is fantastic. If you're an audiobook lover, I highly recommend them. Even if you're not, I still feel like it's very well done. We have pretty printed edges on our paperback, and these paperbacks, look how floppy they are. It's like perfect. Like you just hold it open and it's the best. I love it. You've heard me talk about that book series plenty. Now we're going to jump in to all of the new books that I read this month. We're going to start with our 4 stars. My first 4-star book in June was Austen by Susan May Warren. This is book 4 in the Minnesota Kingston series. And is it book 4? Yes. Okay. So this book is about Austen and Declan. And Austen is a diver. I don't remember her whole title. And Declan is a billionaire. And this is romantic suspense. Now I have to tell you guys, I'm pretty sure I found a new favorite author this last month because of the last few months, because I read the entire Minnesota Kingston series. Loved it so much. It was so good. We're going to talk about book 3 in the 4.5 stars. It's a little confusing, but Austen is number 4. It follows siblings, so you don't technically have to read them in order, but I would because there's kind of an overarching story throughout all the books following the last brother, Steinbeck, and you really want to be involved for that one because it is so good. So this book is about Austen and Declan. I'm not sure what all the blurb says. I'm just going to pull it up because I'm going to try not to read the blurbs for every single one, but it's hard when it's like a suspense and I don't want to give it away. So let me just pull up my Goodreads real quick and I will just read you the blurb and then I will tell you a little bit of my thoughts. I have 43 highlights on my Kindle edition of this book. It's a tiny little blurb. Okay, it says, "There's trouble up north, romance on the high seas. When a chance encounter brings a billionaire and a marine biologist together on a luxurious yacht, their vacation romance turns into a high-stake battle against time as they race to unveil a dangerous conspiracy lurking beneath the waves." That really does not give the best detail, but it's fine. So I really liked this one. I didn't give it 5 stars. It wasn't quite 5 stars, but it was very solid 4 stars. There is some crazy plot twists in this book. Like, maybe it's just because I'm still fairly new to romantic suspense, but I felt like there was just some things coming out of left field, and I was like, holy smokes. And then my mom loves like romantic suspense and like thriller and like intrigue and stuff. So she's read a lot of them. And I asked her, I was like, is it just normal in every romantic suspense for like somebody to have lost somebody close to them like in a tragic way? Because I feel like all the ones I've read, they've had like a friend or something, or boyfriend or girlfriend or something like that, like die like in a really traumatic way. Not all of them, but quite a few, and enough that I've like kind of like noticed and like wondered if this was like a pattern. I guess we will see. But I really enjoyed it. It was really good. My favorite thing about this series is all of the deep like faith content and the conversations with the Kingston parents especially are my favorite part because it's just so good. I thought Declan and Austen were super cute and their chemistry was like really well done and their romance was so good. Also, I really like the narration style and just like the easy way that Susan May Warren like writes the dialogue and like the inner characters like thoughts, like it makes me laugh and it's just so funny. So I really enjoyed it. This is probably like, this series is like a new favorite of mine and I like already like want to go reread it, and I just finished it. But I will soon be moving on to Susan May Warren's next series. I really want to read Carrie Cotton's romantic suspense contemporary trilogy first, and then I will be jumping into my next Susan May Warren series. So I'm really excited about that. Austen is book 4. We're going to talk about book 3 here in a minute, but that was book 4. 4 stars. The only other book I have in the 4-star category is The Light of Stars by Jenelle Hovde, I'm pretty sure is how you say her name. And I received a complimentary copy from the author and Tyndale, so that was really exciting. It came with a ton of goodies for being on her launch team, ARC team, and that was really cool. I'll put a picture up on the screen that I posted on Instagram of all the book mail stuff. It was super pretty. Anyways, so The Light of Stars is about Kitty and Sebastian, and this is a Regency romance. And I will tell you in a minute why it's 4 stars, but I'm going to read you the blurb. When Kitty Grenville's grandfather announces her engagement to Sebastian Sinclair, she's appalled. She barely remembers the boy she met once as a child, and now he's a man tied to the East India Company, the very organization that tore Kitty and her brother from their mother and home in India years ago. Unwilling to relinquish her dream of a love match or her passion for astronomy, Kitty is determined to refuse the marriage and find freedom in her own way. Sebastian Sinclair carries the weight of duty and regret. To atone for his past sins, he complies with his grandfather's orders to return to England, fulfill a long-standing betrothal, and defend the maligned East India Company before Parliament. Though Kitty makes her disinterest clear, Sebastian is drawn to her intellect and spirit. As Kitty navigates her first London season, her opinion of Sebastian begins to shift, especially when he shields her from scandal. When he's abruptly called back to India, Kitty stuns everyone by marrying him and going with him, hoping to escape her grandfather's control and to find her mother. But the challenges that await in India are greater than imagined. Together, Kitty and Sebastian must confront the legacy of family and empire and discover if a marriage born of obligation can grow into a love strong enough to endure. It was really good. I really liked it. I thought the romance was super cute. And I loved the vibes, the India vibes. That was my favorite part of the whole book. Now, I fully expected this book to be 5 stars because when I signed up for the ARC team, I signed up because it was arranged marriage. And if you know me, that is like one of my favorite like plot devices in fiction. I just think it's so great. So, I do have to say, even though this book is marketed like heavily as arranged marriage, they don't get married until far into the book. Like 230 pages into the book. Like this much of the book, they're not married. And this much of the book, they are married. And the other thing that was heavily marketed about this book was that it was set in India for most of it. And they're in India for like a little bit in the beginning, and then this much we're in England, and then we're in India again. And I was really looking forward to the India vibes and like the India setting, because that's just so unique. And I was like, a Regency romance set in India, like that is so unique and so cool. And I was just kind of a little bit let down when most of it was in England and it's marketed as it's set in India. And then it's also marketed as arranged marriage, but they don't even get married until like the last 60 pages of the book or something. And granted, the whole arranged marriage, like technically they were engaged the whole time, but they didn't get married. Like when I hear arranged marriage, I'm like, oh, they're gonna get married like here. And like the whole book is like them being married. So that is why it's 4 stars and not 5 stars. It's still a great book, and if you go into it like not expecting what I did, I'm sure you'll love it. I'm sure I still would have picked this up even if I had known that. I just would have had my expectations like tempered a little bit more and been a little more like informed of what was going down and what was like happening. So all in all, I really enjoyed this book. I felt like Kitty was a pretty well done character. She was independent, but not in like a super like annoying way. And she wasn't like super like feminist, and you know how some characters are like, I don't need a man, blah, 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 blah. And it's really annoying. Thankfully, she wasn't like that. And Sebastian was like the best like character. He was so great. Their romance was super cute. There was lots of cute moments. I really enjoyed it. There is fencing in this book a little bit, which is super unique. I don't know that I've seen that a lot in Regency for sure. So that was really cool. And I really enjoyed that. And Kitty's like astronomy was cool, and the dynamic of her and her brother being born in India and then having to live in England was like really interesting. And there's a lot of interesting stuff like with the East India Company too. So it's very interesting. The historical information is very interesting, and we have a little note from the author that talks about more of the historical stuff, and I just like that. I think that's really cool when they do that. So overall, this is a solid 4 stars. I did not dislike it. I really enjoyed it. I just, with the way it was marketed, expected something a little different from it than it was. But all in all, still really good. Oh, also, this is arranged marriage. They do get married. There's a very, 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 very vague, like, fade to black scene. It's not detailed, like, at all. Just so you guys know, it is arranged marriage, so that is in there, but it is not graphic or anything like that. Moving on to 4.5 stars. The first book we have in this category was All That Glitters by Annah Conwell. I really am enjoying this series. This is her rom-com, what is their series? Rom-com University series. So I think there's going to be 2 more books in this series so far. And the characters are in college, which I just think is really an interesting age. And I find it really interesting because I never went to college or anything. And so I find it really interesting to read about the characters going to college. And I really love the friend group in this series, the girlfriend group. They're super sweet. I'm really excited because in August, the 3rd book is coming out, and the main girl in that one is a ballerina. And I'm just really hoping for lots of beautiful ballet content, because ballet is like my heart and I love ballet and I cannot wait. And I need more ballet rom-coms that are clean. So if you know any ballet rom-coms that are clean, can you please leave them in the comments, because I want to read them. This book is about Marigold and Jameson, and they are both writers and they both work for their college newspaper, and they have been best friends for a really long time. But right before they went to college, something happened. They kind of broke up as friends. And Jameson betrayed Marigold. And now she's angry at him. But now they have to work together on this newspaper project, and Jameson is also a hockey player. So I wouldn't call this a hockey rom-com because it's not only hockey, but there are a couple hockey games, and he isn't a hockey player. So just throwing that out there. We get to see so many fun cameos in this series. We get to see, I think I'm gonna count. Oh, what are their names? The couple from book 1 in this series, Jazz and Shep. We see them from Chestnut Checkers, and then we also see MJ and Bash from One Last Play. Side characters mentioned with books. Okay, Coach Bash, who is from One Last Play. Love that one. Great, you should read it. And Dr. St. James, who is from The First Taste. So these 3 books, we have cameos from characters in these 3 books. And I highly recommend all of them. The First Taste is so good. And so is One Last Play. And so is Chestnut Checkers. Honestly, just read Annah Conwell. Because they're all, like, pretty good. Like, I've only had a couple that I, like, didn't care for. And look at all my tabs. The yearning in this book is so good because, I mean, okay, if it's best friends to more, you know there's yearning, especially from the guy. He's been in love with her since, like, forever. So it's just super cute. So, best friends to more is such an underrated trope, I feel like, in rom-coms. I feel like more people need to write best friends to more because I just feel like it's realistic and it's just so well done. The next 4.5 star we have is Doyle, which is book 3. This is what I'm talking about in the Minnesota Kingston. So this is gonna get a little confusing, so I'm gonna put them all on the screen right here. And in order, it is Jack, Conrad, Doyle, Austen, then Steinbeck. That is the order you should read them in. The only reason I'm talking about this one second is because I rated it higher. I will read the blurb for this one because it's actually longer. So this is also romantic suspense, Susan May Warren. So good. This one is one of my favorites of the whole series. Tiana Pepper just wants to put her sad past behind her, and she'll do it by working a fundraiser and as director of Hope House, a local orphanage on the beautiful island of Mariposa. If only her co-director wasn't an impulsive, out-of-bounds, depend-on-his-charm, annoying disaster rescuer. Thanks, but she can run this show on her own. Doyle Kingston is ready for a fresh start, too. He'll start by finding forever homes for these orphans, but Miss Bossy Pants thinks she's in charge of this island paradise. But they have to work together because their boss, billionaire Declan Stone, Austen, he's one of the main characters in Austen, has invited his fancy friends to the island for a charity event. And of course, one of the donors is a treasure hunter who believes a pirate left a stash under Hope House. Doyle's not in for the wild goose chase, not when they have bigger problems. Like the theft of their equipment by a local gang, then an earthquake rocks the island, kids go missing, and Tia and Doyle have no choice but to trust each other if they hope to save the children and each other. I just have to say, Tia and Doyle have such good chemistry, and the banter in these books is so good. And I just feel like the characters are always like matched so perfectly. And they're like, so far, like they've been super unique too. And also with this series, I just love like the siblings. So the siblings, at least in these books, at least 2 of the siblings always show up at some point. And I just really think it's so good. It's so well done. I just really enjoy it. This one, I have a lot of tabs in. I read it on my Kindle, but then I bought the copy because I was like, first of all, I need more romantic suspense that I've read on my bookshelves. Second of all, I need to own this series because I'm definitely going to want to reread it and probably annotate it at some point. So, Doyle, so good. Came so close to being a 5-star. It just couldn't quite top the other one. But this is definitely probably like my second favorite in the series. It's really good. Okay, and then the last book, I'm going to pull up the blurb for this one, is in the 4.5 star category, is Meet Me on Blueberry Hill by Lisa Jordan. This is book 4 in season 1 of the Jonathan Island. My husband's pulling in the driveway. So we're going to pause and I will come back to you. So the next book in our, was it 4.5? Yep, 4.5 stars. And it's also the last book, is Meet Me on Blueberry Hill by Lisa Jordan. This is book 4 in the Jonathan Island season 1 series. This book is about Sadie and Asher. I'll read you the blurb. Copywriter and songwriter wannabe Sadie Hudson vowed never to return to Jonathan Island, but when her grandmother needs her and she's the only one left to help, yes, she'll return because she'll do anything for her family, even if it means facing the tragedy that haunts her, the accident that took her sister's life. Asher Quinn has noticed his elderly neighbor's new arrival, but he's not interested in anything but solitude for reasons he'll tell no one. And then, shoot, a tree comes down on the house and he can't live with himself if he doesn't help. Please let it not cost him the new life he's constructed here. Except Sadie and her sunshine has seeped into his dark soul, and he finds himself wanting not only to help, but to know her more. And if she discovers his secret, it just might send her running from the one place she now calls home. As for Sadie, Asher has awakened the songwriter inside her, and suddenly Mr. Grumpy has found a place in her heart, and ignited her courage to enter the town's songwriting festival on Blueberry Hill. But Asher is more than he has told her, and when the truth comes out, well, she knew better than to trust the boy next door, right? Grab this endearing, touching Jonathan Island romance about taking a chance on a wounded hero and the song in your heart. It's the perfect summer romance for those who love stories that risk it all for a happy ending. So, I really enjoyed this book. Obviously, 4.5 stars. I read Jonathan Island, the first 3 books, last spring and summer, and then for some reason I never finished the series, which makes me really sad because I remember really enjoying this series, and now I want to get the books, like physical books, as soon as possible because they used to have, it's really blurry, but these are the old covers and now it's this cover. I kind of like the cartoon and illustrated version better. So I really want to get the paperbacks before they don't have any more old covers left. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super sweet. I forgot the faith content in this series is so good. Jonathan Island, it sounds like such a fun place to live. And it's so cool because it's this island in like Michigan somewhere, I think. And there's like no cars or anything allowed on the island. So people like walk and ride golf carts, I think. And there's some horses. So it's just so good. I just really enjoyed it. The faith content was super good. Asher and Sadie were super cute. The romance was so good. And just the redemption and the faith content, it was just all super, super, super great. We are going to be moving on to the 5-star books that I read in June. There are 8 of them. So hold on to your horses, people, because we've got a lot. I was just thinking, am I being too liberal with my 5-star ratings? Quite possibly. But honestly, the more I look at this list, the more I'm like, I don't think so. I am not one who is gonna like dissect a book and give it 3 stars because, oh, I liked it, but this wasn't right, and this wasn't right. Very rarely do I do that. So, yeah, if I love the characters, if I love the plot, if I love the setting, if everything just comes together and it's just perfect, it's 5 stars. And you know what? It's okay. Because I know the books that I love won't be for everybody, but I feel like if I love it, I'm gonna love it like all the way. That's just the way I am. Okay, so the first 5-star book in this list is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. The full cast audio edition, obviously, because that's what I'm listening to. I just loved this one. It was my favorite so far. It's my favorite. I've watched movies 1 through 5, I think, and then I decided I didn't want to watch anymore before I read the books. So, currently listening to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is book 4 right now, currently. I'm so excited because these dramatized editions, I felt like the first 2 were like way too short. I even felt like this one was way too short, and they just keep getting longer, and I'm just so excited because I'm just like, yes, more, I want more. So this one is so far my favorite of the series. I love it. If you've read it, you might know why. I don't want to spoil it. I just have to say, Sirius is my favorite character. I love him. He's amazing. He's great. I love him. I also really like Remus though. And I actually like teared up quite a few times in this book, particularly when they're in the, the Shrieking Shack, I think, and Sirius and Remus are telling Harry about like them being friends with his dad and stuff, and then the the Patronus, that too, just like so sweet. So I am loving this series. I will say, again, we've talked about the magic content in Harry Potter a couple times. There is a divination class in this book. But it's pretty widely recognized. Like, everybody knows that the lady who teaches divination, like, she just makes stuff up as she goes. It's like pretty much everybody says that. And so it's pretty widely recognized that she makes things up as she goes along for the most part. I would say as this series goes on, it's definitely geared towards older. Hi. I hope you could hear that purring. That was super cute. It's definitely geared towards older teens the older it goes. And I would recommend this probably still 17 and up. Maybe 16. It probably just depends on the kid, honestly. You can't play with the fluffy thing. I know you like to. The fluffy thing is not for you to play with, though. I really enjoyed this one. This is my favorite so far. The next 5-star book we're going to talk about is The Splendor of Fire by Ashley Worrell. This is book 2 in the Hebridean Shield series. Okay, I have to admit, for the longest time, I thought it was going to be 4 stars. I really did. But it is about Leo, who's in the... Hey, don't lick that. Don't do that, silly kitty. So this book is about Leo, who is in the first book, and Moira, is that what her name is? Moira, I think so. And Moira cannot speak because when she was little, her vocal cords were badly damaged by an illness. So she cannot speak. She uses signs that she makes up to communicate. And it's not like sign language, because obviously this is the Middle Ages. I don't think they had sign language. So it's the signs that she makes up. So it's hard for other people to like communicate with her and understand what we're saying. And right there, you have the whole miscommunication literally at its finest. And that is one reason for the longest time I felt like this book was going to be 4 stars, because it was just, they were constantly misunderstanding each other and it was drama. And then we were like a third of the way through the book and I thought things were progressing, and then stuff happened and I was like, I got whiplash. I was like, wait, hold on a second, because this is not how I expected this to go at all. But I thought it was very good. I might read you the blurb just because I don't feel like I can explain it well. It's been a long time since I read it. I feel like it was the beginning of the month. So, left without a voice after being lost at sea and unable to communicate except with the man she calls father, Moira Allen has spent her life running wild among the treetops on the Isle of Skye, observing and sketching everything around her and assisting father with the care of prestigious guests inside the walls of I can't pronounce it. Cradh. I can't remember what the DH sound makes in Gaelic. Is it It might be. In the prison, Moira's untamed heart and sharp instincts have made her uniquely positioned to change the course of history. Imprisoned by his brother Niall for disgracing his family and killing his sister Elspeth, Leo McKinnon has known nothing but a life of loss. First, the murder of his parents, then his abandonment in France by his brothers, his wife's tragic death, and now his imprisonment and separation from his only child. Tragedies all spurred by Leo's darkest and most painful secret. The secret that no one can ever know, yet it is the secret God will not let him forget. As the wolf and the McKinnons tighten their hold on the Isle of Skye and the Kingdom of the Isles, Leo's survival lays in the hands of the most unlikely champion, a mute and vibrant beauty who will slip into the heart of his captor, risking her safety, her virtue, and her life, all to ensure the freedom of the man she loves. This is book 2. You definitely have to read book 1 because you have to read them in order, because even though they're about different characters, there's an overarching plot. Leo and Moira are so cute. They're so cute and so frustrating. This book is very aptly titled The Splendor of Fire because, let me tell you, they go through the fire. And it is hard. And there's a lot of hard things that happen in this book. But they go through the fire and come out more refined, resilient on the other side. The refining fire imagery in this book is so good. So well done. The thing that had me through most of this book was Leo and Moira are just both so stubborn. To the point that it's like, oh my goodness. They're very stubborn characters. And they're so well written, which is probably why I was so frustrated, because they're so well written. And that's good. I know it's hard for them to communicate with Moira. She can't talk, so of course it's hard to communicate. So that's the whole miscommunication thing. I do understand that, and that's why I kept going. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have not finished it. I have to say, there are little threads and nods of the biblical story of Joseph in this book. And it was so good and so well done. And I so enjoyed it. And also, about a quarter of the way through the book, we find out that Moira is, I can't say, she has a secret, but she doesn't know it's a secret. But you as the reader know the secret. And you are like, I need this to come out. I need this to be revealed. I need to see the characters' reactions to this huge thing. And it's always there, nodding to it, foreshadowing to it, and it just makes you crazy because you just want to scream at the characters. It's right in front of your face! But it's so good. And then when I finally got to the end and the whole thing got revealed, I cried a little bit. It was so good and so sweet and so beautiful. I just loved it so much. I think I loved it more than The Radiance of the Moon. It was just so good. I've thought about it several times. It was so good. I just enjoyed it so much. I highly recommend this series for anybody who loves medieval Christian fiction. I need to get copies of these books so I can read them again and tab them and have them on my bookshelves because they're just so good. So, yes, The Splendor of Fire. 5 stars. Okay, the next book, you guys, almost didn't make it in the 5-star category. But, okay, I read it at the beginning of the month. And for the longest time, I did not know how to feel about this book. I was like, it was great, but it was really sad. And it was really hard. And there's just a lot of things that made me think. And I was like, I just need to. But the more I thought about it, the more I let it sit, the more I just kept going back to it and kept thinking about it. And I was like, I think this is 5 stars. I think this is a 5-star book. And I just kept going back to it. And I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers. This is my very first Francine Rivers book. I'm not sure if I'll read more of her after this series is over. I haven't decided, but I'm definitely finishing this series. It just gave me so much to think about. It's not usually a book that I would give 5 stars. I didn't shut that last page and think, oh my gosh, that was so good. I loved it so much. It was amazing. It has such a beautiful ending and like all this stuff like I usually do with 5 stars. I closed that page and I sat there and I was like, I couldn't even form like a coherent thought. I still haven't written a Goodreads review for, well, over half of these books, but this one is in particular because I don't know how to express my feelings about it, even though it's 5 stars. So, this book, first of all, I'm going to say this book is for adults. It is not for teenagers. I've had a couple people message me on Instagram when I shared that I was reading it, telling me that they started reading that book when they were teenagers and they didn't finish it, and I know why. And so if you are a teenager out there, I'm just saying it is very heavy, very mature themes, lots of violence, lots of stuff like that. I would not recommend this for a young teen reader. Let me be very clear when I say that. So we have Hadassah, and the book opens. She is trapped in Jerusalem during the siege of Rome, when Rome was sieging Jerusalem. And within the first chapter, this is not a spoiler because it's within the first chapter, her mother starves to death, her father is killed, you don't see that part, her brother is killed, her sister dies, and she is taken into slavery by Rome. Yeah, it's intense. It is hard stuff. So, she goes to Rome, and she is a servant in the house of the Valerians. And what are our main perspectives? We have Hadassah and Marcus Valerian, and Julia Valerian is Marcus's younger sister. She's a piece of work, let me tell you. They both are. So we have Hadassah, and she is Jewish, but she's also a Christian. So, but she doesn't tell the Valerians that she's Christian. They know she's Jewish, they don't know she's Christian. So she doesn't tell them. We get to watch her faith kind of develop over the course of the story. And her chapters are both very inspiring and very heartbreaking because just everything she goes through and witnesses and sees, and she ends up becoming maid to Julia, and just the things that she sees while she is Julia's maid and servant is just really hard. And then we have Marcus. Marcus is an average Roman citizen. He's very loose morals. His morals are very loose. Pretty much anything he does. He has mistresses, lots of them, although we never see him sleeping with them, but there is talk about it. Not in graphic detail though, but it's like known, like he has had relations with lots of women, and he likes to have with lots of women, and he's a playboy, and so all those things. He also likes to go to the games. Oh yeah, and I forgot, okay, there's another point of view in this book, and we have Atreides, and he is a German who was conquered by Rome, captured, taken to become a gladiator. So we also have Atreides, and he's a gladiator, so you can imagine how gruesome that is as well. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. You're standing on my books. Hi. So you can imagine that is pretty intense as well. So we have those 4 main perspectives. There's some side perspectives as well. And so it's very thought-provoking, and it makes you really thankful that you were not born in Rome. Let me tell you, I was reading and I knew, like, okay, I've studied Rome, I've studied ancient history. I knew what the Romans were like, and they're horrible. Like, Romans are like horrible and disgusting and just a really lost people, you know? So it's definitely not a lighthearted, fun, oh, this is a lighthearted, fun biblical fiction read. No, it is not that at all. So if you are easily, I don't like to say triggered, if you are very sensitive to violence, loose morals, all of that, this series might not be for you, but it honestly might be good for you to read because, number one, we know that, at least from Hadassah's perspective, it is wrong. The other three, it's hard because they are just lost people. But the book itself is not glorifying their behavior. They themselves do glorify their behavior because it's just like, this is what you do. But it's not because the book is like promoting it, if that makes any sense. I don't really have too much else to say. I don't want to say too much or I'm going to spoil it. All I can say is I can't stop thinking about this book and I really want to read it again. I haven't read anything like this book ever. Like ever. And I can see why this series is so popular. I really do. I'm not going to say anything else about it. I don't want to give anything away. I highly recommend it for the right audience. And highly recommend it if you know what you're getting into. And yes, I would not recommend this book for teenagers at all. That is A Voice in the Wind. Even now, just talking about it makes me want to go read it again. I'm going to have to buy my own copies because I borrowed them all from the library. So I'm going to have to for sure buy my own copies sometime soon and do a reread, like pretty soon, because I feel like I just missed so much. And since it was a library book, I wanted to like tab the quotes, but I couldn't because it was a library book. So I feel like I want to go through and tab stuff so I can have that. We're totally switching gears here for a minute. Like, okay, for a hot minute. Okay, so we are going to talk about Don't Cross the Blue Line by Susan and Sarah May Warren. Wow, I just got whiplash. Did you get whiplash? Because I think I got whiplash. I want to read the blurb for this one too. What happens when you discover your anonymous pen pal is the hockey player you've been secretly writing a book about and you're trapped in a mall with thieves? A secret... Okay, we don't have to read that part. Everly Hart has mastered the art of hiding. As E.J. Hartley, she writes heart-pounding thrillers. As Sutton Blake, she pens sweet hockey romances about players who are valued for who they are, not just what they achieve. Both identities are secrets, especially from her father, Blue Ox assistant coach Hart. Her current project, Blue Line Redemption, a romance about Beckett Blue Line Benson, the disgraced sinner she can't stop thinking about. He's her ultimate book boyfriend, her muse, her fantasy hero, and he has absolutely no idea. But there's one reader who truly sees her work. For 6 months, Beckett has been writing thoughtful fan mail to Sutton Blake's publisher address. The scandal-plagued hockey star finds solace in her stories about heroes who matter for who they are, not what they do. If only someone could see him that way in real life. When a charity gala elevator malfunction traps them in darkness, Everly and Beckett are devastatingly honest with each other, without exchanging names. He confesses about this romance author I'll never meet, who makes him feel seen. She realizes that he's been writing to her. Weeks later, a blizzard locks them in an abandoned mall during a charity event. Awkward? Yes. Survivable? Maybe. Until thieves break in for a heist. Suddenly, Everly's thriller writer brain kicks into overdrive as they dodge criminals, hide in the old rink, and bicker their way through escape attempts. It's hilarious. It's terrifying. It's definitely not the meet cute either of them planned. As danger escalates and secrets spill, they must outsmart thieves, survive a Minnesota blizzard, and decide if they can trust each other and their feelings. So, I do have to say, again, this is one of those books that I was like, okay, this is good, but it's not 5 stars. And then get to like the last 30-something pages, and gosh darn it, Susan and Sarah May Warren made me cry again. I cried when I read The Not So Neutral Zone, and I cried when I read this book. And if I cry, automatically, this book is 5 stars. Like, it's hard to make me cry when I read, so, like, if you make me cry, 5 stars. Just automatically. I haven't written a review for this one either, because I feel like 5-star reviews are the hardest to write. It's so frustrating, because I just don't know how to express myself clearly. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I do have to say, it's it has hockey in it, but not as much as the Not So Neutral Zone. So there is that. But I still really loved it. I'm getting, my battery is low. I still really loved it. I can't wait to be able to buy a physical copy of it. We got to pick it up a little bit. Okay, so my next 5-star is Steinbeck by Susan May Warren. And this is book 5, the final book in the Minnesota Kingston series. And this book is about Steinbeck and Phoenix. And I don't want to say too much because their overarching plot is throughout the entire series, and it's so good. This is a mini blurb. The greatest heist of all, a thief behind bars, a soldier seeking redemption. Together they embark on a daring quest to infiltrate a Russian stronghold, retrieve the plans, and dismantle the Cyberman prototype. Failure is not an option. So, I'm just saying. It's so good. 5 stars, my favorite. The romance between them is so great. I can't say too much. We have Steinbeck, who is an ex-Marine. Marine? Yeah. And then Phoenix, who is a mystery. We don't know that much about her. But it's so good. I'm really trying to do this before my phone battery dies. So next, I'm sorry I'm going through these rather quickly, but I can't say too much about Steinbeck because it's the last book in the series and it's all connected, so you should just read the Minnesota Kingston series if you enjoy. I just completely blanked. Romantic suspense. Okay, we have 3 more to talk about. Okay, the next one is Veil of Deceit by A.R. Conwell. Okay, I had this book as an ARC. It's already out, but I don't care because it's amazing. So I had this book as an ARC. This book, if you guys heard me talk about the Obsidian Academy, and I think I'm sure I talked about Finn when I made those videos, but this book, Finn is our main character. I love him. He is so great, okay? And then we also have Luciana, and she's a new character. And basically the plot of this book is there is a secret item that they must retrieve because it's in the hands of like the most dangerous kingdom in the Seven Havens, which is like their country world setting. So in order to obtain this item, Finn and Luciana have to marry, because if they don't marry, they need like Luciana's like gift, which is, I'm not going to tell you. They need Luciana's gift, and so in order to obtain that, her father bargains to marry Finn. So they have to marry each other, and they don't know each other. And it's like enemies to lovers, arranged marriage, heists. Also, Castian and Rin are back, which is like the best thing ever. I loved this book so much. For the longest time, I was really kind of a little bit frustrated with her, but then I realized what a good character, like how well written her character is. And I also couldn't blame her because she doesn't really know Finn, so she doesn't trust him, and she doesn't know him like we do who've read the Obsidian Academy duet, so I can't hold it against her. So this is book 1 in a trilogy. Okay, so if you are waiting for the trilogy to come out and you haven't read the Obsidian Academy duet, do it. Read it first. If you don't have to read it, but you'll get a lot more insight into Castian and Ren and Finn. And yeah, plus it's just really good, so you should just read it anyways. There's another heavy book to talk about. An Echo in the Darkness by Francine Rivers. This is book 2 in the Mark of the Lion trilogy. I genuinely loved this one. I knew it. That's all I'm going to say. I knew it. I knew this one was going to be good because of how the first one ended. I knew this one was going to be so good. And I cried at the end because I can't say hardly anything about this book because it would just be so spoilery. But I have to say is it's so good. It's definitely worth reading the first one, and it's still hard, but there's so much more hope in this one. There really is. I didn't realize how many Kindle books I read until I made this list and pulled all my books off my shelves. And I only had like 5 books to hold up. And I was like, wow, that's pretty bad. Okay, my last 5-star. I just finished this book on Tuesday, which was the last day of the month. I did not think I was going to get to finish a book, but who knew? This was actually one of my TBR prompts jar that I picked up my prompt jar, and I don't remember, it was something about my favorite color on the cover, which is pink. So this book was so good. Okay, Pepper Basham does romance so well. So good. So this book is about Daphne, and she loves all things English. She has a tea shop that she inherited from her grandmother. She loves to bake, and she's just like pretty much obsessed with all things English. They live in a small North Carolina town called Wisteria, which is the cutest name for a town ever. And things happen because this guy, Finn, is a British guy, and he decides he's going to open a pub next to her beautiful English Austen-inspired tea shop. And sparks fly. They don't really get along very well at first. They kind of have a couple bad encounters, but it's so cute. I just loved this book so much. It was so good. I was pretty certain it would be 5 stars. Look at all my tabs. I was pretty sure it would be 5 stars because Pepper Basham is just, I just love her writing so much. This one was so cute. Also, he's a single dad. His daughter, what's his daughter's name? Yeah, I don't remember. She's the cutest thing ever. My heart. And somehow Pepper Basham has super cute flirty banter, great romance, great depth, faith content, and just like everything you would want in a romance. This is not, I wouldn't call it a rom-com. Some people might, but I wouldn't. And I love especially the end, how I can't really say anything, but like the events at the end, I just loved that whole thing. And it was really hard to read, but it was also like really inspiring. Highly recommend A Brewed Awakening by Pepper Basham. I'm pretty sure this is my favorite contemporary book of hers so far. It's been a while since I read her Sky Mart trilogy, so I'm due for a reread, but I'm pretty sure this one is my favorite so far. I loved it so much. So it was really, really good. And that is all the books that I read in June. And let's see if I have enough time to do it before okay, we're fine. My battery is at 8%. It's fine. I wanted to go through all the books that I'm currently reading with you guys so you can kind of see what to expect next. And we're not going to go through them. We're not going to take a lot of time to go through them because I'm pretty sure I'm going to start a vlog right after this. So don't hold me to that though. I'm going to try my best. I really want to do some vlogs. Okay, so I'm in the middle of some books. That's an understatement. Okay, the first book that I am currently in the middle of, I am listening to Enhanced by Candace Cade. It's a reread, it's a re-listen, because after I made that fantasy recommendation video, I started thinking about it again, and I was like, I just want to listen to it again. And then I was able to get all 3 of the audiobooks, the other 2 audiobooks, for a pretty reasonable price because I already owned them on Kindle. So if you guys own ebooks on Kindle, even if you borrow them from Kindle Unlimited, you should put them in your library, and then you should always go check the price on Audible, because it's something, is it the Whisper Sync discount, I think, that sometimes, not all the time, not every time, but sometimes with some books, if you have it in your Kindle library, even if you borrowed it from Kindle Unlimited, it will give you a very deeply discounted price on the audiobook, and it might be more affordable than using your Audible credit for it. So you should always check that out. Anyways, so that's why I'm re-listening to Enhanced, because I talked about it the other day, or a while ago, I guess, a couple weeks ago when I made that video, and then I just couldn't stop thinking about it. So that's why I'm listening to that. And then the next one that I'm reading right now is The Sunbird's Last Lament by Andrea Costello. It says, a runaway princess with botanical magic, a dragon trainer living on borrowed time, a love that transcends their doom. You can go look up the rest of the blurb. I'm enjoying it. I'm not super far into it, but so far it's been like really funny, and like their banter has already like made me laugh several times. Like I already have 6 highlights and I'm not even that far into it. Okay, and then the next book that I'm listening to is Shadowed Loyalty by Roseanna M. White. This is a book about the mafia during Prohibition. So it's been very interesting so far. I don't know, I think I have 6 hours left, so I really want to finish it soon. But I really enjoyed it a lot. A lot. I'm really enjoying that one. And then ooh, that's not good. I set my books on a wet coaster. And now the back of it is wet. Hold on. Crisis management. We must dry off the book. Okay. I just started, I'm on chapter 4. Flame Theory by CFE Black. This book has been staring at me since I got it in the mail. I really want to read it. So, I don't know how long it's going to take me to read it, because I have at least one arc that I have to read this month, and then hopefully I can just read whatever I want for like the next 3 months, because I'm so tired of reading I'm tired. I'm tired of reading arcs, guys. I'm burned out. If I sign up for any more arcs, you guys slap me. It's fine. Come yell at me in the comments. No more arcs. Okay, but I'm already, 37 pages in, hooked so hard. Like, I so want to know what happened. There's that, Flame Theory. And then I started As Sure as the Dawn by Francine Rivers. I'm only 19 pages in. I'm on chapter 2. But I started it, so there's that. And I'm also started The Cairo Curse by Pepper Basham. I love the Mistletoe Countess so much, and I just haven't read these yet. So there was Prime Days, and these were some of the books that were on sale for Prime Days, and I got all of them, except for the Mistletoe Countess and like the one that just released. So I got like 3 new Pepper Basham books, and I'm really excited. So I really love this series, and I love the concept because they get married in the first book, and then the whole series is about them, and they're just so funny. So I am enjoying that one so far. I've already laughed. Okay, and then the next one, I'm not too sure about this book. I'm reading An Overdue Match by Sarah Monzin. I've been wanting to read this book for a while, but I've seen people who really love it and people who really don't love it. And that made me a little bit leery, a little scared. I can already see both sides. I think I'm like 20% in maybe. I already see both sides. I'm just not sure about it. Like, she has decided that she's gonna matchmake people and just be really nosy because for some reason she's given up on romance for herself. Well, I know why, but I'm not gonna tell you. So she's just decided that she's gonna be like nosy and like matchmake people, and I'm just like, ma'am, surely there's something better you could do with your time. I know a lot of people like matchmakers, but honestly, most of the time they just kind of drive me crazy because they're so nosy. So we'll see how it goes. So far, I actually like the guy a lot better than the girl. But it is weird because his chapters are written in third person and hers are written in first person. And I've seen a lot of people complain about that. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but it does feel a little off, and it's hard to get into the chapters when they switch. So I'm sure the author has a reason for doing that, but I just haven't figured it out. I don't know. And then I told you that I was listening to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. So I'm also listening to that one. And yeah, so that is all the books I read in June, all the ones I'm currently in the middle of. I need to start Ashfall soon by Dalton and Emily Beckett because it is coming out in like 12 days. So I really need to start that soon so I can get an arc review out before it comes out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please comment down below. Let me know what your favorite book you read in June was, or let me know what you thought of any of these if you've read them, or which one of these kind of caught your eye. I hope you found some good recommendations. This is a pretty solid list because all we had was 4 to 5 stars, so any of them would probably be a good pickup. Honestly, I really enjoyed all of them. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I am the Cozy Peddler on Instagram, right here. And if you want to follow my writing account on Instagram, it is CA Mose Writes, where I am talking about my current writing project. I haven't been doing a very good job of posting on there, but I'm planning to hopefully revive that this month because I've been so busy in June. I hardly wrote at all, so it is what it is. And then if you want to subscribe to my Substack, you can do that too. I do writing updates there. I do book stuff too. Again, June was pretty inactive on there, but I'm hoping to get back to it. I'm hoping to maybe do an update next week. Probably not this week because it's the 4th of July. Also, you'll be seeing this after the 4th of July, so happy 4th of July to all of my American friends. And yeah, I think that's it. Please like and subscribe. Whoops, I just kicked the tripod. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely lovely rest of your day. Bye, guys.